Surviving infidelity. Wife, 46 female, and I, 46 male, together since we were 13, married for 25 years, find out she had an affair when the other guy tried to end himself 5 days ago. I, 46 male, hate to admit it, but I used to read some posts here. I read them and I felt good about myself. I felt lucky, like I had everything, and that I would never encounter myself in the same situation that I used to read about. I was wrong. This is going to be very, very long. I am also a bit drunk right now, so I apologize for any errors, or if this whole thing doesn't make any sense. My story with my wife, 46 female, begins in the 70s. My parents immigrated from Brazil to the US in 1970. They met another couple that had immigrated from Brazil a few years earlier, and had just moved to Dallas. They became really close friends. 2 years after that, they opened a business together. In '73 that couple got pregnant. Around the same time my mom also got pregnant. I was born 4 days earlier than my wife. Our families didn't have any extended family in the US, so we were each other's family basically. Her mom used to babysit me while my mom worked, and since I am an only child and her sisters were born 8 years later, we were basically raised together. We were inseparable, basically joined by the hip, as my mom used to say. Our parents used to take vacations together, and when my parents took vacations, they used to take her with us. We used to have barbecues every weekend, and we always went together to church on Sundays. We were best friends. I asked her on a date when we were 13, and we discovered love together. Our relationship was actually very mature given our ages. We were best friends, so it wasn't that different. We went to the same college. I proposed to her in '94, we got married in '95. Went to the same college, and after we graduated, she started her own business, and I started helping our dads in their business. We had our first daughter in '98, soon after, we had 3 more, 20 female and 18 female. It was like a dream. We were so happy, we were living our best life. We both have very good salaries and we live extremely comfortably. Multiple properties, including some in Europe, and vacations twice a year. Our intimate life was healthy, we indulged in each other's kinks, do it normally 3 times a week. We both professed how much we love each other every single day. It was like a dream. This year, I started noticing some changes in her. She started spending more time working, she was always on her phone, we stopped having intimacy, and we started arguing all the time about things we normally would never argue. She started being cold to me. We talked about this, and she told me that this year was really stressful to her. She started acting more normal, but something was off. Even our daughters realized that, I just didn't know what it was. Last week was when I finally realized that something was very wrong. My brother-in-law's, 36 male, brother, 29 male, tried to end himself 5 days ago, which was surprising to everyone. He definitely doesn't seem like he was depressed or anything like that. My wife and I are very close to brother-in-law's family, so we were all very shocked. He wasn't able to end his own life, but it was close. Brother-in-law found him in his garage with the car on. It was a very close call, but they are expecting him to make a full recovery. My wife was very weird during this whole thing, constant mood swings, crying all the time. We were all sad, but she was more affected than she should have been. Then 3 days ago, my brother-in-law told me the truth about his brother's attempt. My wife and his brother, who is 17 years younger than me, have been having an affair for almost 11 months. Apparently, last week he tried to convince my wife to leave me for him. My wife ended their relationship and he tried to end his own life. I confronted my wife after hearing this, and to my surprise, she confessed, "Yes, I was honestly hoping that he was wrong and that his brother was lying. I am that naive." She broke down crying, that she didn't know why she did this. She called it a midlife crisis, saying that it was nothing wrong with us, that she still loved me. I ended up almost having a panic attack. I just didn't know what to do, just packed a bag with some clothes, and just stormed off. She tried to stop me, but I got in my car and drove away for almost 8 hours. I stopped when I realized that I was in freaking Memphis already. I've been staying in a hotel since that day and everyone has been blowing my phone. Apparently, my daughters now know because my wife told them, which just makes this thing even more humiliating. I talked to my oldest, just told her that I am safe and don't want to talk to anyone. My wife and her family have been calling non-stop. I have more than 100 missed calls and 1,000 plus unread messages. My other daughters are also desperate, but I just can't bring myself to talk to them. For the last 2 days, I have already drunk 2 bottles of wine and 1 bottle of whiskey. I just can't stop crying. I feel absolutely lost, absolutely lost. I know my wife for my entire life. I know her since she was barely 1 day old. We had our first picture together when she was 2 days old. Now every time I think about her, I feel like throwing up. What did I do wrong? What the hell am I supposed to do? Any advice is really appreciated. I am really lost right now. Now for the top advice. Just some advice on the practical side: save all the messages from her, text and voice. Your lawyer will need them. Texas is not a no-fault state according to a quick Google search, so her admitting to her affair in text or voice messages will be important. Even if you decide down the road to try to reconcile, you'll want a post-nup agreement, since there is a business involved, and her admission of guilt will be helpful. Second piece of advice: stop drinking. Booze is a depressant, and will only make you feel worse and make bad decisions. Your wife has created enough bad decisions and bad feelings already. Third, get a lawyer ASAP. Even if you don't divorce, you need to know what your rights, options, and the best way to proceed legally to protect yourself are. Finally, go home. Running away isn't going to help anything. Go home and show your daughters you're okay. Tell your wife she has to go stay with her parents or siblings for a while, but don't let her force you out of your home and away from your children and family. I do live in Texas. While money is the least of my concerns right now, I need to start looking into that. I know that I need to go home, but I just can't imagine going home to see my wife or our daughters without crumbling. What the hell am I supposed to do? You do the bare minimum: you stop drinking and head back home, kick her out, or at the very least have her stay with family. You need time to decompress and fully come to terms with your life. Give it a few weeks. Don't make any stupid or impulsive decisions until you're sound of mind. It's still early days, and you're clearly having a breakdown. There is zero excuse regarding your wife's affair. Midlife crisis or not, it doesn't justify her affair or actions. Don't pity her affair partner. This wasn't some child. The man's about to turn 30. He knew full well what he was getting himself into. Neither him nor your wife deserve pity, and they are both to blame for what happened. Head back home the moment you sober up. Text or call your wife ahead of time, and make sure she understands that she needs to be gone the moment you're back. You need time to process. The questions and answers can come later. Here's a list of stuff you'll need to do below. 1. STD test. 2. Consult a lawyer, even if you're still on the fence. 3. Demand a full written timeline of the affair with details, censored and uncensored version. 4. Full access to your wife's electronics and social media. 5. No contact with the other guy and his family, might include brother-in-law to avoid drama. 6. Read up on the survivinginfidelity.com healing library, and consider posting over there. 7. Implement the 180. 8. Therapy, for yourself and kids. 9. No intimacy, it'll just complicate things and it'll be used as a tactic to get you to stay. 10. Don't drink or turn to drugs in your grief, take up running or working out. Boxing is a good alternative that will deal with the anger once it sets in. Do not blame yourself. Your wife is old enough to know actions have consequences. This wasn't some one-off drunken kiss, it was a full-blown affair that nearly lasted a year. It was physical and emotional, so I expect the worst in both aspects. Do not stay for your kids, do what's best for you, even if that means walking away. I, 46 male, hate to admit it, but I used to read some posts here. I read them and I felt good about myself. I felt lucky, like I had everything, and that I would never encounter myself in the same situation that I used to read about. I was wrong. LOL, me too bro. Made me feel great. Guess what, we both were wrong, haha. It just sucks. I never expected to be that guy, feels so stereotypical. I felt that what we had was unique. Who can say that he was married to someone that he knows since he was born and started dating at 13? My mom took me to meet her for the first time when she was hours old, Jesus Christ. Now for the next story. My story. New to Reddit and I stumbled with this subreddit. After reading your stories, it brought back all the heartache and anger that I went through at the end of my marriage. So, I thought to write my story to give a glimmer of hope to you, and to show you that everything turns out good at the end. I am 55 years old and my ex-wife is 50 years old. Married for 23 years, together for 25 years. So, a little background. I am from Alberta, Canada, farm boy, born and raised at my parents' dairy farm. I moved to Ontario to go university and got a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering. After graduating, I went back to Alberta and started working in the oil patch and automation of big oil processing facilities, and oil and gas drilling. Made good money, bought a house in the city. A co-worker introduced me to my ex-wife. She is an accountant working at a big retail company in the finance department. We clicked immediately and started dating, lived together for 2 years and married. During our time in Alberta, we had 2 kids, boys, 19 months apart from each other. Around year 5 of our marriage, she got a promotion that required her to move to the HQ office in Ontario. So, I resigned from my job and we moved to Ontario. Rented and kept my house, and bought a new house with my ex-wife there. Found a new job in automation of manufacturing facilities. She quickly rose through the ranks in the company she works for, and now she is a high-level manager in this company. We both make very good money and have a very good lifestyle. Frequent family vacations, new cars very often, and paid our house loan very fast. So basically, no debt. We had a very social life. We knew a lot of people there from our university days and from her childhood. In 2016, is where everything went to crap. I got laid off my job, got diagnosed with diabetes, type 1, and got home early one day after running some errands, to find out that my wife has having an affair with my best friend, college roommate. I caught them in the act. He was in our friend circle, he is tall and handsome, divorced for cheating, you know the player type. She begged and said the usual stuff that they all say. That she loves me, that it was a mistake, that we can solve this, and our marriage is the most important thing to her, blah, blah, blah. I didn't want to reconcile, couldn't think of myself being a prison guard following her everywhere and looking for ghosts around my relationship. I do know my value. So, I kicked her out of the house and started divorce proceedings. Called the kids that were at university at that time, and told them what their mother did. This put a lot of strain in their relationship, which she claimed was unnecessary and petty from my part. Called my so-called friends to tell them what happened, and most of them knew. One even told me that this affair has been going on for 3 years. I was oblivious, maybe because I was naive and trusted completely my then wife. After knowing this, I went no contact with my ex. Every communication came through my lawyer. I cut them all out of my life, never spoke to them again. I got depressed, had rage issues, did not sleep, did not eat during that time. Was the worst pain I ever been in my life. I never want to go through that again. I sometimes still have nightmares about it. One day, I realized that I could not keep being sorry for myself and started looking how to keep my mind occupied. Started jogging and exercising, started cooking as a hobby, started to learn how to play guitar. Anything to keep my mind off remembering all the crap that I've been put through. Playing guitar was one of the things that helped me a lot, is very hard to master, takes a lot of practice and took a bunch of hours of the day, that I would otherwise spend wallowing. One of the first songs I learned, is The Sound of by Jan Arden. It is a song about recovery, and I truly recommend it. Another thing that helped was buying a puppy dog, a Rottweiler. The breed that we used to have at the farm. My ex hates animals, so we didn't have one. Taking care of the puppy also allowed me to take things off my mind, and having it being dependent on me, gave me a reason to keep going. During the divorce, we sold the house and split the equity, split the money in the savings account. RSPs, retirement, didn't need to be divided since we both had the same amount saved, and after the divorce I moved back to Alberta, since I had a house here and started my consultant business. I am doing very well, even in this recession. Sold my house and bought one in Canmore at the foot of the Rockies, and have the woods as my backyard. I'm not very good at social media. Never cared for it. I do not even have a Facebook profile, so not following my ex-wife was very easy, nor did I want to know what she was doing. In 2018, I went back to Ontario for my son's graduation, and I met my ex there. She asked since I was there visiting if we could grab a cup of coffee someday and catch up. I just told her, that in hell, I would be in better company, and then went to ignore her for the rest of the ceremony. Both of my sons moved here to Alberta and they live 40 minutes away from me. This had to be a shock to my ex, since Ontario at 4 hours away by plane, and like 36 hours away by car. That makes it very difficult for her to come and visit the kids. Not everything is great as it sounds. I haven't been able to be in a relationship again. I have trust issues, and decided that it isn't fair to my partner, so I stopped dating altogether. I am alone but I don't feel lonely. I am very happy with my life, even if I don't have anybody to share it with. For all of you in this sub, My heart goes out to you and what you are going through, but I can testify that it gets better. And even if you end up being alone like me, it's way better than living with a cheater and the ghost of their infidelity. Now for some top comments. I am alone but I don't feel lonely. A man is never alone if he has dogs. Called my so-called friends to tell them what happened, and most of them knew. One even told me that this affair has been going on for 3 years. You're not any more alone now than you were when you had these friends around you. I need to get a dog now. My ex took ours. Sounds like a good plan. Wow, with friends like that, who needs enemies? Did any of them try to give you a reason they all stayed silent? What did you do or say to your former best friend? At least it looks like your boys know which parent is the one to try to emulate. I wonder if your ex-wife has any regrets about losing her whole family over her infidelity? Not defending these friends, but I have been the friend who did tell, because I figured if it were me, I'd want to know. Both times, I was told I was a liar, I was jealous, I was a crap starter. It's not like I had screenshots or anything to prove an affair, it's not like the cheating parties were sending me nudes or anything, and denial is incredibly strong. I lost friends and family by trying to do the right thing. I don't regret trying to do the right thing, but I don't think I'd be inclined to do it again without hardcore, undeniable evidence of an affair. Excellent recovery story. Not all stories need revenge, or a new marriage to end happily. You've built yourself up, given yourself new direction, and rebuilt your life around the things you now love. Very nice, friend. Now for the last story. Until it happens to you. I was affected by infidelity as a kid. My dad was unfaithful to my mom multiple times, and I saw how much it affected her. I saw the devastation it caused my family. So, I truly thought I knew what it did to someone. How wrong I was. Until it actually happened to me, I was not prepared for the sheer amount of pain. For the hurt that ran through my veins and straight into my heart. The gut-wrenching betrayal. I have always known that the media romanticizes cheating. I was annoyed before, but tolerated it. I didn't like it. But sometimes, I even fell for the stupid plot, where they made cheating on one spouse almost acceptable. But now, I can't even stomach it. It completely turns me off. A seething anger inside of me boils when I see it. There is not ever a justifiable reason to be a cheater. Like, none. I stop watching the show. Or movie. Or whatever it is. It's ruined some good shows I used to like too. I can't bring myself to watch them again. Because even if it was the evil antagonist that gets cheated on by his victimized girlfriend who finds her savior in someone else, it's still not okay. I now feel for the evil man and hopes he gets his revenge. Until it happens to you, you don't actually know the extent of damage infidelity causes. It's rotting to the bones. And there's nowhere to hide from it. Now for some closing comments. I feel exactly the same way. I've never known anyone with the intense burning hatred for cheaters that I have. They're on the same level as pedos and animal abusers for me now. Yes. The other day, I was thinking about this. People that abandon their older dog for example, just to get a new puppy. The amount of hate that person would get. How is that viewed to be worse than cheating by so many? And side point, people are never satisfied with what they have. For example, the older dog may not be able to do things like it used to, but you would love that dog because it's your dog. You wouldn't look at other dogs and be like, man, I wish I had that other dog. Even with the ugliest stinkiest dogs, their owners view them as nobility. So why is it okay for people to be so dissatisfied with their partners? The number of times my dog has thrown up, and barked at kids and made them cry, and still, I wouldn't trade her for anything. That's how I felt about my husband. I knew he wasn't perfect. But I was willing to work with that because he was mine. But he wasn't mine. I agree 100% with this. I was watching The Office the other day and saw Angela cheating on Andy with Dwight. I remembered this, but it didn't impact me until now, as I'm the betrayed spouse. This made me think about earlier, when Pam kissed Jim when she was still engaged with Roy. There is a lot of this, and I'll bet these writers haven't been cheated on. To really understand the destruction it causes, you have to experience it to have true empathy. Reach out if you want to talk. Thank you. It's sickening to me. How dare they make it look attractive and shiny, and not show the devastating consequences? I feel like this is also why a lot think it's not that bad, and try it themselves. And that's it for this video guys. If you have thoughts to share, leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you like this content. I'll catch you in the next one. Good day everyone.